The full season of the GP3 championship gets underway here in Barcelona, and as ever, 2 races in the weekend, one on Saturday afternoon after Formula 1 qualifying, and the other on Sunday morning, nice and early. Hello everybody, Martin Haven alongside me, Tom Gaymore, getting ready for the first of the action with Cypriot driver Teo Elinas on the top step of the podium after qualifying penalties robbed the fastest man of his pole position. Kevin Corjus will start down in 10th position. In fact, Tom, that was a penalty that wasn't even given out in qualifying. That was for ignoring yellow flags in free practice. Yeah, a handful of the guys got their penalties for yellow flag infringements in practice, as you said. Bit of a rusty start to the weekend, really. These guys know better. It's pretty mandatory. It's one size fits all in terms of penalty, and you know that if you do go too quick in a sector or past the yellow flag, you're going to get penalised. Interestingly enough, Carlos Sainz Jr., he was particularly dismayed with his penalty. He believes it was an unfair penalty, and he was one of the guys that was tweeting last night that he thinks he shouldn't have got. Well, what driver ever thinks that it's a fair penalty? However, yeah, and in free practice, why would you not lift off a lot just to avoid a 10-spot grid penalty? Hopefully that will not be an issue from here on in. Cars coming to the grid for the season opener in the GP3 series for 2013. It's Cyprus driver Teo Elinas on pole position. We have 27 cars on the grid from our 3 car teams, and on board the car that will start in 22nd place, one of the rookies, Manuelo Sonsini. Got a whole bunch of new drivers, a few returning drivers as well. Elinas, Connor Daly, and former race winner Lewis Williamson as well, who has joined the brand new Bamboo engineering team. So Teo Elinas, the red and white car on the front row of the grid. Alongside him is Patrick Niederhauser, who is fastest in free practice. Good start from Elinas, very good start from Elinas. Slow away from Connor Daly, third on the grid. The dark blue car, that is from 4th place. That is Nick Yellerly at Carlin. Looks up the inside of Daly, has to defend. Who was attacking him from behind? Don't know who that was, but Daly in the red and white of ART sweeps back up into 3rd place. It's Elinas that leads, Niederhauser in 2nd, and Irish driver Connor Daly before the next race, where their standalone event in Valencia will compete in his first Indy 500. Yellerly defends against a 3-wide group, the number 6 Red Bull car. That is Danny Kvyat, the Russian driver, from 7th on the grid. All Mark Webber's MW Arden cars are Red Bull livery this year, and behind him the other 2 ART guys. It's Vinio in the mix with them, and that was the driver that you were picking out into turn 1. Yes. So he got held up a little behind Yellerly, as through past Yellerly goes number 6. So good move there from Danny Kvyat, 7th now to 4th place in 3 corners. Russian driver having a real tear at the start. Yeah, I didn't see what happened to Yellerly there. It just looked like he ran wide, but he certainly needs to establish himself on this first lap. One bit of information that we haven't really talked about is the tyres this year. It's very, very different to last year. And these guys, they can't just charge for 17 laps. There's going to be a lot of tyre management involved. And in these first laps, they're going to have to look after their tyres to a certain extent. Well, the other thing, of course, that we've not talked about at all is that how totally different the car is. In free practice, they were over 3 seconds quicker than the lap record, because they've now got a 3.4-litre V6 engine producing 400 brake horsepower. And actually, Tom, these cars immediately from the first lap look much quicker than last year's car. So it's almost like it deserved a new name, the championship. 16, defending hard, that is Dino Zamparelli, another rookie from Great Britain. There's a U behind him. And yeah, you're absolutely right. They don't just look, they sound faster. We can hear them. And they're going to wake a lot of people up tomorrow morning when they're herring round at 9:30 Central European time. We did say early on that they sound a lot like 250 Grand Prix motorcycles, and actually you're not too far wrong there. Teo Elinas clearing off. Now, his tyre management is obviously to make a big gap while the tyres are fresh but on a heavy fuel load, and then try and defend it later if they've gone away, in the hope that everybody else will have battled to try and get to him. We'll have to wait and see how that strategy works out. It's hard not to run away in front when you have got clear track, though.
It depends how you're driving it. If the pace is there, then ultimately use it, as we see one of the...
Well, that's Zamparelli,
yeah,
having a little look down the inside of David Fumanelli, which is the white number 24 Trident car. In fact, almost every car is white this year.
I'll tell you what, Niederhauser was lucky that
Daly was slow away.
And Daly was slow away, and they came under pressure from Vinio, because Elenas got a good start, but Niederhauser wasn't that quick. He lit them up on the inside of the front row there. I
tell you, Yellowy got a little bit held up behind Niederhauser, but he immediately chopped in behind the leader. Down the right-hand side, Aro Vinio cuts all the way back to the left, and again gets stuck behind the dark blue car, the Carlin car, and around the outside, the Red Bull car. That's Danny Kvyat. He made up one place. On board with Carlos Sainz Jr. Ooh, on the limiter.
Yeah, very much on the limiter.
Dear oh dear, now that will have cost him possibly a position. Who's that going down the inside? That's a great start from Giovanni Venturini.
With Sainz, it was almost as if he had to take avoiding action. Look, he's gone, and the Yenza car ahead of him, which is Fontana, is just so slow away, and we're on board with him now, and that's why he lit them up so much, is because...
And in fact, that was Lewis Williamson from Bamboo, a further row back behind Sainz, also went by Alex Fontana, Norberto Fontana, I'm going to call him at least once more this season. So it is, yeah, okay, I know, I live in the 90s, 80s, yeah, if you ask my wife. Tio Elenas fastest race lap. It should be interesting to see what last year's lap... You talk amongst yourselves, I'll see if I can find a lap record.
Well, in qualifying, they're 4.4 seconds quicker, aren't they?
1:38.4 is the existing GP3 lap record, so they're already inside that on lap 2 of the race on full tanks.
The interesting thing is, it's a bit like we see in GP2, that these cars are actually really a mini GP2 car, perfect, such as the amount of horsepower, 400 brake horsepower, and the concept that Pirelli have brought to the table in terms of compounds means that even if you have the pace, and we saw this from Fabio Lima in Bahrain, you can't ultimately use it too much, because you'll be a sitting duck at the end of the race. The drop-off can be 5 to 6 seconds, such is the degradation on these tyres.
Great noise from the engine, really good, and that's, you know, all part of motorsport, whether Max Mosley liked it or not. The visceral sound and feel of racing cars is very important to the drivers and to the crowd. There is Fontana in the number 12 car. His teammate Patrick Niederhauser in second place, or one of his two teammates. Carlos Sainz in the number 4 Red Bull car, up to 13th from 15th on the grid. Not making electrifying progress at the moment. Maybe he's hoping that the middle part of the race will suit him better. 4 to go, and that's 4 far too many for Danny Kvyat and Carlos Sainz in these two Red Bull cars. The first of them, Danny Kvyat, the Russian driver. It's actually a bit embarrassing to watch, isn't it? They're being passed so easy. Luis Silva, a rookie, goes straight by Danny Kvyat, who has now got Carlos Sainz behind him, and neither of them, Tom Gamer, have got any grip at all.
Now watch this now. Bamboo car, I think. Is that Williamson on the outside?
I think it might well be. It is the Bamboo engineering team. Wow. 21 is Melvin McKee.
What a move of the race so far. 2 cars around the outside.
But it's like impressive. Shooting fish in a barrel. I mean, apart from the worry that he was on the outside and they were going to both go off, which is a very real worry, I think.